It's back.
The green train is running. Look, Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network and now the Fins Talk Podcast Network. We got the one and only Fish Tank Hank, and I'm Bobby Fins Talk. Fish Tank, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm looking outside. It looks beautiful. It must be a pool day.
Yeah, it's nice out, and it's hot. It's hot. I know it's hot here up in Tennessee where I'm at. But we got everybody up in the house here, and let me thank everyone for tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or X, excuse me. Eric's in the house, Rob of DolphinsThirsty.com, Anthony, Chris, Mr. Lyles, everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Ender, Aladino, as we go down the list. But hey, it's game day, folks, and I'm not talking just college football. But it's Dolphins game day. The Miami Dolphins play game 3 of the preseason, which is the finale of preseason for Miami. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Fish Tank, you would think after an eventful offseason for Miami that not going to be boring because no season is boring, but you would think that we're pretty much on the outs of regards of adding anybody special, probably be these back-end players that you pick up that get cut, that kind of fill out the roster. We signed A.J. Johnson, a linebacker, a couple days ago who was pretty good a couple seasons ago. But those type of players, you don't think we're going to add some kind of Pro Bowl for the 24 years old, 3 years in his prime type of player, but here we are. There is so much to talk about, Fish Tank. It's not a boring week for Dolphin fans and Dolphins football. But before we get into the elephant in the room, let's talk about the game. How excited are you for game 3 today, my friend?
Oh, I'm excited because this is it. This is the final curtain call. Are you going to make or break the 53-man roster? And that's what this game is going to come down to. We'll also get to see what our QB2 does, and that'll be nice. I think it's going to be a good game for us to learn a lot, and the coaches too, because we're going to see who's on the bubble now, because they're going to play whoever's on the bubble a lot, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, we do know, there's no official list yet. I'm sure that will come out in the next couple of hours of who's in, who's out. We do know that about 95% sure Tua will play today. Some of the starters will get some drives, not in a complete half, but a couple of series. And then Skylar Thompson probably will get the rest of the game like he did last week. Why? Not because he's beating out Mike White, which I believe he has, but because Mike White is out, concussion protocol. He will not play today. So Skylar Thompson will have a second opportunity now, a third opportunity, but a second real opportunity to prove that he's our backup quarterback going forward behind Tua. A-Chain is out. Mike White is out. Robert Jones is out. Fish Tank, let me ask you this as we're going on talking about the game, and we will get into the Jonathan Taylor talk throughout the show, but those major injuries, A-Chain is out, I believe, until week 1, hopefully. It was a shoulder issue. Jones is out. Mike White, he never was really playing. He hasn't played officially for the Dolphins in regards of regular season game. But which injury concerns you the most, my friend?
You mean other than Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, we know Ramsey's out. We know he's gone. We ain't worried about him. I'm talking about those 3 guys.
I'd say Robert Jones hurts the most. He's a great player. I like watching him play. So A-Chain, I think we have enough in our running back room where we don't really have to worry about him. And the same thing, that was our QB3, so I'm not that concerned about him. So Robert Jones.
There you go. You're right. And let me just say very quick to Megan. Hi, Megan. That's my niece. She's watching. So hello, sweetheart. Love you from Theo Bobby. Evan's up in the house. I see you guys in the comments. We're going to get to those. Keep putting your comments here. Tell me what you're thinking about today's game, the Jonathan Taylor situation. We're going to get to those in just a minute. But I agree with
Bobby,
you.
I just noticed something.
Yes, sir.
You're almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Almost there. Yes.
You're at 934.
Yes, sir. I'm very.
So let's remind people at this point in time, then, shall we?
Thank you, sir. Go for it.
I just intro you. You do the rest.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Hey, look. If you're new to the channel and you're just tuning in, this is the Fitz Talk Sports Network. You catch Fist Tank, Hank, and myself here every Saturday at 12 noon, talking Dolphins football. We've been doing it now. I think it's 3 years, almost 3 years. I'm not sure, but
this is our third.
It's our third. Okay.
Something like that.
I haven't seen the specific day, but I know it's been a while. But look, Fitz Talk Sports Network, man, we're growing. We got a lot of exciting things coming on. You got the Fins bandwagon. We got a lot of great Dolphins content. You got NFL, soccer now. We have college football, basketball. So if you haven't, and professional wrestling, can't forget that. And rest in peace. My condolences, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, and Terry Funk, who, I was too young to watch him in his prime. But one of my favorite matches of all time was Terry Funk versus Ric Flair I Quit match. And
yes.
Love that match. Loved watching it. I love professional wrestling, so I watched back in the day to today. But rest in peace to those guys. But we have great content on here. So if you haven't yet, smash that like and subscribe button. Join us. We got now the Fitz Talk Podcast Network, which we not only have shows from the channel on Spotify and on your other podcast platforms, but also newer shows, i.e. maybe, different from sports, movie talk, paranormal talk, things like a lot of different things we're going to do. So it's a lot of fun. So thank you, Fish Tank, for plugging that. We are growing. We're very excited. We got a lot of great things here. We got a great team on the Fitz Talk Sports Network.
Don't thank me because all I did was the intro. You did all the work.
So, Daniel, good to see you, my man. But yeah, so much to talk about with the Miami Dolphins. And I want to touch on that. We're going to touch on all of that because I see it here right now. F them picks.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to touch on all that. But I agree with
Fish Tank.
Take it easy,
son. Take it easy.
Robert Jones, A-Chain, no matter what you do in the running back room, was more than likely not going to be your starter. He was probably going to be your second to third back, maybe even your third back with Wilson out if Wilson has come in. So I'm not too worried about him being out if it's longer than week one. I think he comes back. But Jones, because, listen, we need all the men we could get on that offensive line. I don't want it to be where Jones comes out and Isaiah Wynn goes down, God forbid, and now we have Eichenberg. We have to back up to Eichenberg, and we have Eichenberg as our left guard. That's my concern. So I'm with you. I'm more concerned with Robert Jones because we need all the help we can get on the offensive line, Fish Tank.
Is Eichenberg going to make the team?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I think just because of injuries, not injuries, but because of where he was drafted, maybe. I know Wynn, I agree with Evan. Isaiah Wynn has to be your starting left guard right now. And let me just put this in here very quick, Fish Tank, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm grabbing
in regards to the Jonathan Taylor situation, I see a lot of people who say, "Oh, I want to, obviously, I want to re-sign our guys, but I also want to shore up the offensive line."
Yeah,
I'm okay with the first one. Here's the why we have to let go of that second part. That means shore up the offensive line. Miami is sure on their offensive line. They've said it on Real Talk Fitz Talk. They played the video where it, and you remember the interview where Chris Gurr said, "You guys are more worried about the offensive line than we are." The Dolphins are not concerned with their offensive line. They're confident in their offensive line. I don't know why. Don't shoot the messenger. It's out there. But you know what they're not comfortable with? We're saying, hey, fix the offensive line. The running backs aren't so bad. The Dolphins are saying, no, we're good with the offensive line. We want to address the running back room. That's why Josh Jacobs, they've inquired. That's why they tried to trade for Dalvin Cook last year. They tried to sign him this year, but they weren't going to go over. Why did they not go over $4 million? Well, lo and behold, for 3 weeks at Fish Tank, we talked about it a little bit last week where I heard that the Dolphins had talked to the Colts about Taylor. Then there's later in the week, breaking news. Yeah. Taylor's seeking a trade. They have allowed him to get a trade, the Colts. And now the Colts and the Dolphins are talking. So, we could talk about the offensive line all we want. Dolphins are okay with it. So cut that out. Stop talking about what to do with the offensive line.
Yeah.
Miami doesn't care about the offensive line. They're good with it. They're looking at the running back room.
So they've moved on. We need to move on.
That's right.
Because you're beating the dead old horse for 20 years now. The offensive line's been screwed up, and Greer isn't going to do anything about it. So let's move on.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I want better offensive linemen. I want a better offensive line. Don't get me wrong, but let's forget it. Let's let it go. Do Dolphins think they're fine with it? Okay? Chris Greer thinks he's good with it. Let him sit on that dead horse when the season comes on. If the Dolphins get in trouble because they don't have a good offensive line, it's on him. But what I'm saying is let's move on from saying we need to shore up the offensive line. Yeah.
It's going to be a punch right to the face, Bobby.
Hey.
He's going to feel it. He's just going to go. Because if we lose because of that offensive line, he'll be fired for sure.
Let me see. But we're going to touch on the JT subject, but I just wanted to get that out there because I've seen that people keep saying we got to shore up the offensive line. Forget the offensive line. We got to make sure we don't lose guys next year. That's another thing. Look, there's guys I want to keep, but at the same time, I want to win a Super Bowl. Okay. And before this offseason even started, because I didn't know about Jonathan Taylor, but there was 2 players that were rumored that were going to be on the trade market: Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. I was all for Derrick Henry. I believe a legitimate running back it would be perfect for this offense to put them over the hump. And people go, oh, but we have Raheem and we have but we have the cheapest running back room. Look how much money we're paying for the running backs. We're golden. Hey, look, these guys are injury prone. Secondly, I think it's on purpose that the Dolphins have the cheapest running back room for this purpose. So when a player in this magnitude like Jonathan Taylor is available, you go get him. And obviously Miami knew, hey, look, we're going to get if Dalvin Cook says we'll go for $4 million, then we're golden at running back. But we're not going over that because we know that guy right over there is going to be available. We've talked to them, and that's what's going on. So we'll keep touching on that as the show goes on, Fish Tank. But let's keep talking about this game right here. Let's talk about the guys in a Dolphins uniform.
Well, hold on. I want to reply to somebody.
Oh, go for it.
Chris, I want to reply to you about Skyler was great in preseason last year, then stank in regular season games. Will this year be a repeat? The answer to that's no, Chris. The answer to that is no, it won't be a repeat. I think Skyler's going to be ready for this season. He's got a year under his belt. He wasn't ready to go in last year, but they didn't have any other options. And considering what he was under, what pressure he was under to get it done, I think he did an all right job.
So, and
thanks,
you know what?
Bobby.
I'm going to follow up with that because you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you why I think Skyler's not going to be a repeat. Because last year he was a 7th round pick, a 3rd-string quarterback who had no business being in any of those games. He had no opportunity to play with the first stringers, even the second string. He played with the practice squad.
Yeah.
And to come in when Teddy Bridgewater came in and got out, Tua went down, he went in, and he played the best he could. It's very easy to look very damn good in preseason, but still, it is a benchmark where it's like, hey, look, he could do something in the pros.
Yeah.
I think Skylar Thompson, with a year under his belt, playoff football under his belt, and this is not a knock, it's just a fact. He's played more playoff games than Tua because he was there. So he has that experience now, okay? That's why I think it won't be. I think you will get the better version of Skylar. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady or any of those guys. He's not going to be Brock Purdy. I don't know what he's going to be, but he's not going to be bad.
Though.
He's going to be our backup, and it's not going to be bad. And then let me just make sure. Back It Up Bench Podcast. Good to see you, brother. Need a strong O-line and quality depth, so Grizz Gamble better pay off. Look what happened to my Orioles last night. Seasons can change that quickly. You're absolutely right. And again, that was my point about the situation. That's why it's a no excuse season. And I brought this up. The depth is there, and I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, but this guy was hurt, and this Eichenberg had to go in." And you can't blame this guy for injuries. No, you cannot blame anybody for injuries, but you could blame that. Hey, you knew these guys had injury issues, or you knew this situation could occur, and you could have had this fixed. You chose not to. You choose to say that the fans and the media are more worried about the offensive line than you guys are. So, if by the season, mid-season, end of season, offensive line looks like crap, we're looking at you. There's no more excuses. And in regards of Jonathan Taylor, I've said it before. My baseline offer to start it off, Fish Tank, is 2 second-round picks this year, next year, and send Agba. That's my baseline, okay? In regards to the first-round pick, and I don't want to give up my first-round picks. This is a team that could make a run.
Yeah.
We're not worried about, we got to build for the future.
No, we need to win now.
This is the team to win now. So you make moves to win. Moves to win. So, you don't make moves to compete right now. You make moves to win. That's right. I'm not thinking about
big difference.
But look, I want to win, but I want to win with what we got. I don't think we need that guy, because even though he's only 24 years old, 3 years in the league, this is not some 10-year veteran. This is not some guy at the last years of his career. This is a 24-year-old player, 3 years in the league. But I don't want to give up a high draft pick, because I want to keep that for the future in case we need to rebuild. I'm not giving a damn about the rebuild in 2 to 3 years.
No.
I'm worried about winning a Super Bowl. Aren't you all sick of 20, 30, whatever, how many years, decades of saying what if, or before every season, we can make a run? How about we solidify that?
Yeah.
How about we go get these guys?
Yeah.
We did it. Don't tell me Chris Greer won't do it. He did it with Tyreek. He did it with Jalen Ramsey. He did it with Bradley Chubb. He gave up picks.
Lead the charge, Bobby.
Listen, the running back, people go, he's not very into, he doesn't look at what his history of running backs. He tried to get Josh Jacobs. He tried to get Dalvin Cook this year. He tried to draft. He was talking about drafting Jahmyr Gibbs. He's looking at Jonathan Taylor, and he's making offers. Don't tell me about the old Chris Greer. It's not about last year. It's not about the year before that or year before that. It's about this year. So I'm not worried about 5 to 10 years.
Mike McD in the background, and he's sitting there screaming, I need a 3-down back, Greer. That's what's happening. He's sitting
That's
there
what I'm
screaming
saying.
at him.
He doesn't have Joe Philbin, Adam Gase, Brian Flores. He has Mike McDaniel, who's a running back coach, who looks like he's committed to the run game this season. And yes, those guys, I'm happy with our room. I'm okay with it, okay? But if you could go get a Jonathan freaking Taylor
right now,
Jonathan Taylor
for this offense,
with this offense, are you kidding me?
Man,
you're going to say no because you're worried about 2 years from now? What?
You're crazy not getting them. You're crazy. No, I don't care what it costs.
You go get him. You go get him. In regards of contract, I think that's already worked out. If the Dolphins are negotiating with the Colts, I think they already know what they're going to. Taylor and Miami already have it worked out in regards of contract. It's about compensation with the Colts. The Dolphins are playing it smart. They're not going to bid against themselves. But again, I don't want to see the Eagles or the Broncos or any of those guys end up with Jonathan Taylor. I would be very disappointed if that went down. Now, don't get me wrong. I like our room. I'm okay. And this is an 11-6 football.
Let me ask you this then, Bobby. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I do. Look, would you give up a first?
If it became a bidding war, if it became where everyone else was offering and it took a
look, in order to get them, you have to give up a first.
I would give up one first. Yes, I would. Yes, I would
too.
I believe in that guy, and I believe in this football team if you get that guy.
It has nothing to do with that one guy. It has to do with the fact that he could be the final little piece that puts us in that category of the Kansas City Chiefs offense. That's what we're missing. And not only that are we in that category, we're above the Kansas City Chiefs if you add that little nugget in there. That's what I'm trying to say. You're equal, but you throw that nugget in there.
Let me just say this.
Taylor in there. Forget about it.
Hold on, and let me say this.
Talking about the Miami Dolphins and what their odds changed to, and the over is going to go up in Vegas.
Listen, everyone's saying, look, I'm not want to give up a first from Rob, who, again, I love Rob. Great content. DolphinsThirsty.com. Dolphins Thirsty. Dolphins Chatter on YouTube. Backing up Binge Pocket. No way giving up a first. Hank, getting Taylor and giving up a first is bad business. Name me a running back that has carried a team to win. Here's my thing. A first-round pick. Do you guys think the Dolphins are going to have a top 10 first-round pick in 2 years? Do you actually think? I'm sorry. With this football team, what the hell does it matter with a first-round pick if it's going to be in the top 25? If you think this team is a Super Bowl playoff contending football team, what does a first-round pick matter to you? Honest to God. Because we're basically giving up.
If you win the Super Bowl this year, you're going to worry about your first-round pick next year?
Fish Tank.
No, you're not.
Fish Tank, you have the team at 13-4. I have it at 11-6, the way it stands right now. Think about that first-round pick. Now, next year, next year, that's going to be a late first-round pick. Either way you cook it, okay? That's basically, if you go 13-3 or 13-4, and you may say you're a divisional team, make it to the conference, that's a second-round pick, basically. You're a late-round, first-round pick. And that's going to cost you Jonathan Taylor, one of the top running backs in the NFL in his prime. Oh, but I don't want to give that up. That's bad business. That's not bad business. That's winning business. That's winning business.
Do it.
Give up a first-round pick. If that could secure you, if that's the one hurdle, you giving up one first-round pick to get back him. And it's not about – you're absolutely right, Hank. It's not about one guy. It's not about – it's what he brings to everybody else. It's what he brings to my Raheem Mostert. It's what he does for Devin Unchained. It's what he does for Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and
what he
Tua,
does
or Skyler if Skyler's in there.
And the offensive line. See, you left out the O-line.
Those guys too. It's not just the one guy. It's what it does for everybody. I don't want to give up a first.
I feel like a salesman today.
Listen, I'm all about trading picks. Trading players and getting more picks. But this is not the team for that. This is the team for winning. So a first-round pick, if a first-round pick means go getting someone in his prime, then you go get him. You go get him. And that's why Miami's talking about him. So that's where I stand. Second round, I'm at 2 second-round picks and Emmanuel Akpa. But, Fish Tank, if you're telling me, hey, Bobby, they want at least one first-round pick, you know what? If that's going to get the deal done today for Jonathan freaking Taylor, you go get that deal done. Send the pick in.
That's what they're waiting on.
This team is not having a top 5, top 10. And if we are having a top 5, top 10 pick,
here's my point,
everybody.
Bobby. That's what they're waiting on. They want a first-round pick. That's why they're not budging. So is Miami going to let yet another running back go by? You had all these opportunities to get the bell cow that you need, the 3-down back that I know Mike McDaniels is standing on the table screaming at the top of his lungs for, to make his system work. I know it. You have got to get this guy. This guy means more than anything else right now. He is the key to get us over the hump and to get us up there where we're equal and or greater than, the rest of the teams. You got to be better somehow. Who would they cover? I just,
I don't understand some fans, and in all respect, everybody's right in their own way because everybody can fan any way they want. But I don't understand how some fans are afraid to add premier talent to a team because it might take away the potential of what that first or second round pick may be. It's like,
you already know what you have in Jonathan.
That's what I'm saying, and what you're adding to this offense.
Guarantee, baby.
Yeah, you go and get the guy. You go and get that guy. And I said it about, I don't know who said about Cook, but I said about Henry. You say about Cook. Damn right, because I believe that premier running back is what this team needs. Yeah. I'm uncomfortable with our running back room. It's not a knock on
I'll tell you what,
but you go get a premier back. That's what your offense needs.
Bobby, do you think if we turn around and get a running back like this, people are going to be all that worried about the offensive line like they are now? They won't be quite as worried. No. It'll ease my mind if we get a Jonathan Taylor, because what they do for the offensive line alone, I'm right there. Give up a first. Do it. Get the deal done, Bobby.
Well, you do not know he can come to Miami and not be good. Indy has a great line. No, I do know because of what he's done, what he did in college, what he has done in the pros. He was out last year half with an injury. I do know because look what Raheem Mostert and those guys are doing, what they did last year with their crappy offensive line. Look what they're doing this year in preseason. Look what he could do. Hank's absolutely right. You put a player like Jonathan Taylor in that backfield, look what he'll do for your offensive line. Look what he'll do Raheem Mostert when Raheem Mostert and Devin Unchained or whomever's back there doesn't have to run that many times and they're healthy throughout the season.
Thursday, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. We could get him, and he could
go down with an injury.
Gone the next day.
Yeah.
But guess what?
We're supposed to be afraid of that.
Point of sit and wait anymore. We are at that point. They did this rebuild, and we have 2-year window right now. We have 2 years of good winning. If Miami puts the pedal to the metal right now, I'll take 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. They've lasted for 50 years. It'll last for another 50 years.
Backs go nowhere without a good offensive line. Look at Derrick Henry back at Up Bench Podcast and go look at his offensive line rankings, and you tell me if that's still true. With all respect, if you don't mind. Tell me that. If backs go nowhere with a good offensive line, I don't know what's being watched or not, but Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in football, and he has one of the worst offensive lines. One of the worst.
Yeah.
So you may think, oh no, that's a good offensive line because of Derrick Henry.
Okay, well, then we'll use Cook as an example. He had a horrible offensive line, and look how good he did, over 1,100 yards.
Again, well, look, what I'm saying is, again, to people, my baseline, and I've said this to Rob behind the scenes and obviously here, I'm making it's 2 second-round picks and Emmanuel Ogbah. 2 second-round picks equal first-round pick, in my opinion. If you 2 + 2, you get 1. Now, but if Hank asked me a question, if it means giving up a first rounder just to get the deal done, yeah. If it's just 1 first rounder, I'm all for it. You're getting a premier talent at an important level. It's what it is. All right, and think about the type of offense you can have. If you're already high on this offense, imagine or you have any doubts. If you're like, yeah, look, man, look at all these guys, we're really great, but man, our offensive line scares me. You want to help that offensive line? Fish Tank has said it, and it's true. Go get your stud running back.
Go get it.
Great running backs, help your offensive line. Help your offensive line.
Hey, you know what? You have to have a great defense, which we have. You have to have a great running back, which we don't have. You have to have a great quarterback and great wide receivers. That's how you win a Super Bowl. That's the bottom line. So,
Evan says trade a first-round pick, Jeff Wilson. I'm assuming it's Jeff Wilson or maybe Cedric Wilson, but he says trade one of the Wilsons.
Yeah.
Dave Stager and Brett Lagasse of the Food Bar Show. one of our guys. Rob says, Hank, that you would be okay with trading Christian Wilkins for Jonathan Taylor.
Would I be okay trading Christian Wilkins for Jonathan Taylor? No, I wouldn't be okay trading Christian Wilkins because you already know what you have in him too. Your question is a double question to begin with. It's not a singular question because you're trying to make it that way so you have a comeback on me. But
not me. I'm saying what Rob said.
Yeah, I know. Rob asked.
Oh, got you. I got you.
Okay. There's a comeback. He can come back.
Back it up in pocket. That's pretty good. What's up,
Rob,
Bones?
That's Rob. You know what I mean? And the bottom line is he's going to say, well, if you get Taylor, you're going to have to give up Wilkins. We don't know that. We don't know how the owner's going to pay bonuses. We don't know how the money works in if they couldn't afford to do it, they wouldn't be looking at doing it, Thirsty.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. And I'm telling you, they can hold out for 2 years. The Cowboys are over the cap every single year. Every year. Way over. And
I don't want to hear
about
cap space. It's the cap space.
I don't go by the cap space because you can do bonuses and all kinds of other stuff that don't interfere with the cap space. There's ways around it, is my point. So I'm tired of hearing about the cap space. I'm tired about hearing about you're going to lose this player if you get that player. You don't know. You have no clue any more than I have any clue that if we get Jonathan Taylor, he'll be a stud all year. I can't guarantee that. But I know that Miami has a lesser chance of making a Super Bowl without Jonathan Taylor than it does with Jonathan Taylor. And if you need to give up a future first-round unknown draft pick, which will be a late pick because Miami's not going to suck this year, so it'll be a late first-round draft pick that you give up for a top-quality first-round draft pick person. I don't know. I'd take Jonathan Taylor all day.
let me just say something very quick. Bones just made a comment, and I don't know which way he's going with that one. But he says we can't get stuck to players. We got to used to get winning first. We got to get used to winning first. To me, in my way, what I would think that would mean, Bones, and Bones, thank you for tuning in. Everyone tuning in. It is a great debate. Rob, backing up Binge Pocket, everybody tuning in. And look, no, you don't say nothing about anybody can fan any way they want. They could want their team to win any way they want and do whatever they want. No one is wrong, in my opinion. You could say, hey, Bobby's wrong or Hank's wrong or Rob's wrong, whatever, but it doesn't mean they're any less of a fans. It's not about having sexy trades. It's not about sexy trades, first of all. That's wrong. That's
about
wrong.
Winning.
What's up, Bills Mafia? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. But Bones, don't get stuck to players. We got to get used to winning. Here's what I think that means. And Bones, you could correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's right. Oh, I don't want to get rid of this guy. I don't want to get rid of this player for Jonathan Taylor. I don't want to get rid of like a Christian Wilkins, whatever. I like Christian Wilkins. But, I want to make sure we can pay for these guys. I want to make sure we can keep these guys in the future. Blah, blah, blah. Look, first of all, cap's a fantasy. Second of all, the cap space is fantasy. Second of all, we have to win. Have we won with these guys? Have we won with them? Running backs don't win championships. No, you know what wins championships? Teams do. You know what's going to help the team? Jonathan Taylor, okay? A player like Jonathan Taylor, a stout running back. And it's not about Jonathan Taylor in the same sense that I've said this before the season, and Rob knows this. I said it when the season ended with Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook. We need to get a legitimate running back. We got to get legitimate running back, okay? So my thing is, why are we worried about I want to keep these talented players, but have we won with those guys? No, we want to win. So you bring guys in, and there's guys that are out there. When there's a player that's out there that could make the difference, and this is not a 10-year, 15-year pro. This is a third-year player, 24 years old, in his prime, okay, that could help your team solidify itself deeper into the playoffs. Look, Hank has it 13-4 right now. I have it 11-6 right now. You add Jonathan Taylor, I'm at 13-4.
I'm at 15-2.
Okay. Trenches and quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Absolutely. The trenches, offensive, defensive line win make your team a lot better. Okay. That's what I'm all about. You build from the inside, the offensive line, defensive line, and you move back. But guess what? The season's about to start. The building is over. Now you're adding players. And if Quentin Nelson was available, or Quentin Nelson's from the Colts, and I'm trying to think, Zach Martin from the Cowboys, if he didn't resign, and let's say, hey, he has permission to trade, go get those guys. I will tell you, go get them before you go get the running back. But guess what? They're not available. The offensive line is done, and guess what? Chris Greer doesn't give a damn about the offensive line. He thinks they're good.
He doesn't care what we think, folks. It's the offensive line is irrelevant at this point in time.
Let me see here. And I want to make sure I get to everybody's comments. And I'll start with Rob of DolphinsThirsty.com. Again, guys, Rob's on the other side. I mean, he wants Jonathan Taylor. He's not about giving up a first, though. He's saying a second and a fourth round pick. I believe that's what it was, Rob. But let me tell you something.
Yeah. I mean, if you get
the less, the better.
What I think we should give up for him, I'd say give him a second, Agba. And if you can't get the deal done, throw in a running back or two and get it done.
So, let me just say, if you're thirsty for Dolphins content, go check out DolphinsThirsty.com. Go check out his YouTube page, Dolphins Thirsty, Dolphins Chatter, mainly weekdays on 10 a.m. Eastern. But he says, I just want the Dolphins to win. Most teams outside of the Rams win by making good draft picks. History seems to favor teams that make more under-the-radar moves. But that doesn't favor the Dolphins, Rob.
Yeah, and who said Chubb would get us a Super Bowl, too? Nobody said that.
Got us to the Super Bowl last
year. Don't be argumentative, man.
Well, no, let me just say, first off, Bradley Chubb was a midseason pick, a trade, okay? It was a midseason trade. I know Rob did not like that, all right, that trade. But that's a midseason trade that's probably going to benefit us this season with Vic Fangio. Dolphins always go for the big move. Well, guess what? When we hired Mike McDaniel, who is close and was on the same staff as the head coach of the Rams, I could have told you Miami's probably going to go down this route because they believe they were there. Okay. When they saw what Mike McDaniel was, and then they were able to get Tyreek Hill, that whole about, let's build for the future with Mike McDaniel as our young coach, win out the window. It's not about building for the future. It's about winning now. You got Tyreek Hill. Now you got to win. You want to blame anybody? Blame Tyreek Hill. And I don't
so,
mean
Rob,
that
are you trying to
tell?
way. I just want to make sure I got this right, Thirsty. So you trying to tell me this team is built the same way it's been built each one of those years that they went for one player? You're telling me right now that this offense is the same as it's been for the past 20 years. This defense is the same as it's been for the past 20 years. No, it's not. It's not, Thirsty. Well, it's not. It's not even close.
If you truly believe this team is knocking on the door of being in contention, to being in the playoffs, okay,
why would you not get a player?
Don't you think you want to help this team continue? Like, we're not talking, and we could talk, let's shore up the offensive line. It's done. The season's about to start. These are players who are available now, and a player like Jonathan Taylor is available to you. You do your best to go get him. And I'm just saying what I would give to give him. Hank asked me a question. I gave the answer. There it is. I understand the Dolphins love making splashes, but Hank's right too. Mike Wallace was one. Brandon Marshall, Sue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It goes on and on and on.
But the problem is, Hank's right as well. Did those teams have this roster? Did those teams have a player equivalent to a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Ramsey or Jalen Waddle or a Nick Chubb or Jalen Phillips or et cetera? Did this team, or Tua, did this team have the talent that it has right now? No.
Not even close.
No. If you think the Dolphins, now here's my disclaimer. If you believe the Dolphins aren't going to win next year or this season, you think they're not going to miss the playoffs, you think they're going to have a high draft pick, first off, if they miss the playoffs and have a high draft pick, they all should be fired. But if you really believe that, then okay, I can understand your point of view about keeping a first-round pick. I get it then. I won't argue with you. If you truly believe the Dolphins aren't going to be in playoff contention, if you truly believe they're not a Super Bowl contending team, if you believe that this season is in the crapper, if that's what you believe, then I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you either. Keep
the first-round pick. You keep the first-round pick, 100%. But if you think, Dolphin fans, if you think the Dolphins are knocking on the door of a Super Bowl, if you think they're a playoff team, then why the hell are you worried about a first-round pick? You should be worried about winning a Super Bowl. Not next year, not the year after, not worried about rebuilding in 3 to 4 years. Worried about this season. Worry about winning now. That's my point.
We have a window of this year and next year, and then you're going to lose half your players, Thirsty. Then what are you going to do? Then what? Then you're sitting there sucking ass with no Super Bowls. Okay?
I don't know about that, but I don't.
Yeah, you're sitting there sucking butt with no Super Bowls is what you're doing after these next couple years. Because it's going to take a couple years to get back in the groove again after we have to pay for what we've already done.
What do you think? Let me ask you this. What do you think if the Eagles take? What do you think if what happens with the Eagles, who are probably one of the most talented teams depth-wise and starter-wise, okay? What do you think happens if they go get Jonathan Taylor? Because they're interested. They're one of the teams talking to him. But you would go, but why would they? You think they're worried? What if they give up a first-round pick? And if they do, God help us all. Okay.
You know what? That'd be like saying if you have the Kansas City Chiefs and they turn around and there's Jonathan Taylor and they give up a first-round pick for Jonathan Taylor, it's a bad deal. Really? Nobody would say that it's a bad deal for them, but it's a bad deal for Miami. Okay. I don't agree. But
Hank, your bird feeder is hurting your brain.
Yeah.
Rob. So
your lack of bird feeder is hurting yours.
Oh.
Stop being in such a bad mood and chill out.
Oh my. All right. So look, let's get to the game today. All right. We'll continue on this talk with Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, the fan base is very strong in their opinions. I think everybody would be happy if we landed Jonathan Taylor. It's the debate is what you have to give up for him. Who's willing to give up for him? Again, my baseline, 2 second-rounders and Agba. Rob is a first-rounder and a fourth-rounder. Hank is a second-rounder and a running back.
And Agba.
Excuse me. That's the baseline, but it's about if you're willing to go up from that. And that's where the debate is. So, look, again, I just want to paraphrase this. nobody is wrong in their opinions. As Dolphin fans, everybody has a right to their opinion. It's so damn good, and it's a good year to be a Dolphins fan. We should all be excited that a player like Jonathan Taylor wants to come to Miami, that a player like Tyreek chose Miami over the Jets, that our quarterback, who's feisty right now, it looks like he's getting better before our eyes, not only on the field, but off the field. This is a team to be excited about. So no one is wrong in their opinions on how they want to go and how they want to address this situation. It is a hot debate.
Hey, Rob, I'm not mad. I just don't let you personally attack me, bro. You tried to personally attack me with the bird feeder, bro, like I'm dumb. It's all right, man. It's all right, man.
He meant that out of love. He meant that out of love.
All right. I still love you, bro. Nothing but love here. See that? Doo-doo.
So, let's go ahead and continue here. We I had it on here. Dolphins keep exploring the running back market. I will just say this, then we'll go on to the game. Again, we're everybody on here, every Dolphins fan, when you say, hey, should the team address? Offensive line. Chris Greer has already expressed that he's not worried about the offensive line, so that goes for the whole Dolphins. But obviously, they care about the running back room because Jahmyr Gibbs, they were interested in drafting him, which is kind of funny because I was all about drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, and I got slack for that, Rob. Drafting A-Chain, they drafted A-Chain. Dalvin Cook, they were interested in him. They were interested in signing Cook in free agency and via trade, and now they're actually negotiating with the Colts for Jonathan Taylor. So obviously, despite how we feel about our running back room, the Dolphins don't feel comfortable enough with their running back room, and they're trying
obviously they don't.
Okay, so moving on.
So if they're going to get a running back, would you rather them get a crap running back, or would you rather them get a Jonathan Taylor? I'll take a Jonathan Taylor.
And I will say, I think it's more about what we're giving up for him. I think that's what most people are trying to get at.
It's all good, Thirsty. I'm just bantering back at you, bro. Don't shut down on me now.
That's his green light.
So going to what to look out for, Fish Tank. In this game, 6 o'clock Eastern time. I believe it's 6 o'clock Eastern. I might be wrong because I'm on Central time. Sometimes I get those times mixed up. But it might be 7 o'clock. So Rob or Evan could correct me. But the game tonight against the Jaguars, we are expecting Tua and some of the starters to play. Which players, though, are you keeping an eye on? If you give me 3 players that you're watching out for today.
Wow. Well, give me your 3.
Give me well, first off, I'm going to say Skylar Thompson. I'm very interested to see what he can do. If he could continue what he did last week. It was, Chris brought it up earlier. He did great last year in preseason and then, didn't do so good during the regular season. But we have to remember he's a 7th round pick and 3rd string quarterback, was not meant to be at that spot. However, last week, 28-3 victory over the Texans. I believe, 3 touchdowns, very nice thrown touchdowns. I think he's going to secure that 2nd quarterback spot tonight, and he's going to make Dolphin fans comfortable that he's a 2nd quarterback. So I'm watching him. Obviously, I'm going to watch the running back room. I'm going to watch Ahmed. I want to watch those guys, the Gaskin, if Gaskin plays. Obviously, A-Chain's not going to play. So I want to watch that backup running back spot to see who's going to be behind Mozart. Because if we don't get Taylor or any other back, those are our running backs. And they've looked good so far in preseason. We know Miami seems to be committed to the run. So I'm interested to see what they could do today. The 3rd player is Julian Hill, the tight end. I want to watch him continue. I want to see him continue what he's been doing. He looked very good last week. The Dolphins don't seem like they were an offensive line committed to addressing tight end. I think they have their mind on what the tight end room's going to look like, and I think they're comfortable. I think people could be surprised with what Julian Hill is doing. Those are my 3 guys, Fish Tank. Who are yours?
Well, I want to watch and see who is opposite side of X and see how our backups do. That's important to me on this game. This game, we should actually see them play a bit. So I want to see who's filling in for Ramsey and who they're putting in at safety across from Holland. And I'm curious where they're going to solidify, who they're going to put where for those 2 positions. And the other position that I'm watching today is Tua. I'm really going to watch Tua a lot today. I want to see how he performs. I'm hoping that they give him a quarter or something and he plays for about a quarter, and then Skylar Thompson comes and takes over. I don't know. He could play 2 plays for all I know, but I'm hoping that he plays a bit. And the third one would be offensive line. That guard spot and right tackle. I'm going to be watching those just like I do every game. So
there you go. So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited actually to watch these 2 teams, 2 Florida teams, the Jaguars and the Dolphins. The Jaguars, you know, they're on the way up too. They had a good season last year. They're looking to do better. They had a big win last week. I believe they won. I have it here. They beat the Lions 25-7 as the Dolphins beat the Texans 28-3. So Dolphins, of course, are 1-1 in the preseason. Jaguars are 2-0. The win total in preseason does not matter because a team could go 4-0 and go 0-60. Not saying that's going to happen to the Jags, but could go 0-17 during the season, and the team could go winless in the preseason and win a Super Bowl. So I'm not really worried about the win total, or excuse me, the record. I'm more worried about, again, how this now, especially today, is the offense in sync, is the defense in sync, the starting units, also for as long as they could play, but also individual performances. The guys we discussed, how are they going to perform? Skylar Thompson, eyes are on you. There should no reason why you should not ball out and win this second job without question. Ahmed, Gaskin, whomever else is going to play today, Chris Brooks, who I love. I hope they find a spot. If they don't get a Taylor, that they find a spot for him. But you are sorry, I got an alert here that distracted me. But you see the Dolphins, Raheem Mostert, if he plays, you see the Dolphins are flirting openly with multiple running backs. Show them why they shouldn't. Show us why we should be okay, which we're all okay with the room, but why we should say, hey, you know what? Maybe Rob is right. Maybe we should only give up a second and a fourth. And if they say if they say no to that, then we're okay with it because we have these guys. We all believe in these guys. We all think these guys are going to be really good this year because the Dolphins seem to be committed to the run. But eyes are on you. Show out today. Show what you can do. And Julian Hill, it's individual performances today. What can Julian Hill do? What can Tanner Connor do? Tanner Connor came off
I want to know what Tanner Connor could do.
15 touchdowns. Hey, you better show something today, brother.
Better show something because if he doesn't, he won't even make the 53.
But Fish Tank, let me ask you this, my man.
Yes, sir.
Off the field storylines, Jonathan Taylor, injuries, yes. But you got to see this team on the field, off the field. You got to see, 2 games in the books. This will be the 3rd game. You had it 13-4 before the season. Are you, if they don't make a trade for Jonathan Taylor, and based off what you've seen this preseason, do you carry the same expectations that you had before the preseason for this team? Is it still a 13-4 team in your book?
Right now, they're a 13-4 team, as they sit, in my opinion. However, if they get Jonathan Taylor, they'll be a 15-2. Because before we started the preseason, I said 15-2. Then we lost Ramsey. Then the Jets gained players. Then we lost another player. So I took out 2 wins, and those 2 vital wins were a win against the Bills and a win against the Jets because I saw us tying. I saw us equaling out with them, and because I saw them equaling out with us, I decided, that if we lost those players, that took us down a notch where I saw those games were close, and I gave Miami the coin toss. So I took the coin toss away from Miami in those 2 games. However, you get Jonathan Taylor on this squad, I think we go 15-2. I truly think that the only 2 teams that are really, really hard and in our way are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles. The Eagles is the big one that I just don't think we can win. I don't think we can beat the Eagles at home with us on the road against them. No, I just don't think we can beat them. I still think they have a little more talent than we do.
I got you. Look, same thing, in regards of offensive line, you know, I have him at 11-6 this season. Okay. And that's counting the offensive line. I think they still seeing what I saw. I'm more excited about this team from what I saw last week. And the running backs have been showing out. I said it last year. I didn't want to see no 80-20 or 80-20 passing running game offense. No. Go back to what you're good at, McDaniel. You're a running back guy, 60-40 split. You could, if you love pass the ball with Tyreek and Jalen, perfect. 60% of offense passing, 40% running with Raheem, who had 800 and some odd yards last year. He could run the ball. A-Chain, Brooks, maybe Wilson. I don't know what's going on with him. But with what I've seen so far, I'm absolutely comfortable sticking with 11-6. The only thing that would change that, if our quarterback goes down more than 2 games, which I projected he will, which is not predicted. It's just predicted. I said if he was to miss 2, it'll be 2 games because I think he's going to make he's going to play 15 games because he usually plays 13. But that's the only way that would change. Okay. I have my baseline is 11-6. Fish Tank is 13-4, unless they add Taylor. Of course, to me, if they add Taylor, I'm going to add 2 more wins to that as well. I would go 13-4.
so we both add 2 wins if Taylor comes on board.
That's right. But hey, I just want to point out here. I just want to point out to everybody who with your Twitter here, and this is all out of love. This debate is all out of love with everybody in the comments. We appreciate everybody tuning in. It's not about adding the player. It's about what you're going to give up for the player. Because I know Rob would like a Jonathan Taylor. I know that most everybody, all Dolphin fans, if we got Jonathan Taylor today,
we'd all be happy.
We'd be ecstatic. Now, I can understand if some Dolphin fans, Rob or whatever, if it was 2 first-round picks and whatever, you're going to be like, oh, man.
No. You don't get crazy about it.
But, so it's more about what you're going to give up for him. And I would love to, if Steve was here, he would put it in the comments, I'm sure. Steve is the host of Real Talk Fitz Talk on Tuesday nights at 7:30. But, we don't always have to agree, but we all could agree on topics. But we can always agree on that we're all Dolphin fans, on being Dolphin fans. So
absolutely.
That's all that matters.
And we want them to win. That's all that matters. And we all come out and talk Dolphins, even thirsty.
That's right. That's right. Even let me make sure. Let me see. Vogel. That's a crazy idea. I heard, it's hard to wrap my head around a 15-2, 14-3 season because we always are around 500 every year. I would be ecstatic. I get that, but again, I believe. Oh, geez, Lou. My brother's in the house. Harrison Melendez, Nick and Rachel. Thank you for tuning in. Joe, how y'all doing? Harrison, Jets.
You got to teach Harrison how to actually spell though.
He never finished. No, I'm not gonna say. I'm just playing.
It's Miami.
That's right, Miami. Rob says he's inviting you to the show tomorrow, Fish Tank, in their morning show. John Green in the house. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Realtor in the house. Cool. You could catch Rob. I believe it's 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow morning. Rob, is that right?
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the invite.
Hey, and this is what I'm going to say too. Talking about Sundays, we got, we're going to go into our second season of post game. We had our first preseason post game last week. We'll have one later tonight. Me and Evan, and everyone's welcome to join the Talk Dolphins preseason game 3. But going not next week, but the week after. We'll start our pregame show on Sundays. Before the Dolphins game, we'll talk not only about the Dolphins, but we'll talk about the rest of the NFL, how it's going to go down. That'll be at 10 o'clock Eastern on Sundays for the regular season. And then following the Dolphins game, we'll have our post-game shows. So that will be a lot of fun. So tune in for that. Fish Tank in and out, of course, of Dolphin games. I think maybe if, pregame, you might be able to make it because I don't know if you'll be at the hotel or not, or you'll probably be partying. And then, of course, afterwards, if you're home by then.
Yeah, but I can bring you to the party also.
That's true too.
I can bump in and say, "Hey, this is what it's like here at the stadium." And
there you go. We got live on the field on the
reporting,
tailgating reporting. There you go. Just my biggest concern is
it's okay if I hold the camera at a slight angle, though, right?
Yeah, we'll understand why.
Because that's how I'll be standing.
But let me just say, everybody who's tuning in, if you're a first timer, you're watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. You got Fish Tank Hank, myself, Bobby Finstock. We're here every Saturday, 12 noon, going on 3 years or on 3 years. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Great content on the channel. Hank, will you be at the Giants game? Vogel.
Yes.
There you go. He has season tickets. If it's in Miami, he will be there.
Yes, sir.
Miami,
I will be there.
Will be there.
Michael
is a part of the channel. Fish Tank. He did post game last year. He did the draft show. He does the draft with us. So it'll be good. You two get together. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Perfect. All right. So just saying, you two gentlemen are styling and profiling those Dolphin shirts, and Hank added that matching hat. Nice. That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's Aladino. Bobby, what channel is the game on? Let me look that up for you, because I don't want to get that wrong. For me, if it's two AFC teams, it's usually on CBS, but I know that's changed. Let me go ahead and see.
Awesome, Michael.
Let me check for you right now, Aladino.
I'll see you there, bro.
So,
I'm usually in the southeast corner.
All right. So it looks like they will be on, if you're in Miami, should be on CBS. That's what I'm seeing here on CBS. Make sure. Let me type in Miami. If it's outside of Miami, then it will be on NFL Plus. Let me see here. Let's go to JAX. I'll pull that up for you right now. Yep, CBS. That's where the game will be on if you're local, brother. Oh, yes. So my mother and Ralphie Boy, both attended Dolphins training camp, the last public training camp or open to the public, which was Fan Appreciation Day. They had an amazing time. It was their first time attending a live training camp. You'll get it at CBS, Aladino, if you're in Palm Beach, brother.
Thanks, Evan. I appreciate you too.
Evan and I will touch on the whole subject tonight, I'm sure, and talk about we're going to talk about the Dolphins game. But the Dolphins organization was amazing to them. They had a great time. They drove Ralph up right to the gate so he could get out because he's ADA, and it was a fun time. They really enjoyed it. But is Trevor playing tonight? I haven't heard anything on Trevor Lawrence if he's playing tonight. I do know that obviously Tua's playing tonight, and so that's really cool. So I'm excited about seeing what they can do. But I would like to see Trevor Lawrence playing tonight. I would like to see us go up there, our defense go against their starters. That because obviously the Jaguars are on the ups. You know what's up, Concrete? So I would love to see that. So I hope so, Scotty.
Fins up, Concrete.
Thank you, Aladino. But Fish Tank,
yes, sir.
My goodness, this is it. This is the last preseason game. Next Saturday, we'll be reacting to player cuts and hopefully
53-man roster with Jonathan Taylor on it.
That's right.
For a first-round pick.
Oh, stirring the pot. You're stirring the pot. Oh, man.
Stir it up for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I got to tune into that. That'll be a hot debate. No, I'm just kidding. You know, Rob's a good dude, man. Daniel Taylor, Scotty, I'm in Jacksonville. I'll know if Trevor Lawrence is playing tonight.
Right on.
So, hey, good to know. But, hey, guys, listen. Fish Tank, you have anything else you wanted to discuss before we wrap it up for today?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out and all the nice comments and all you folks participating. And Thirsty, I love Thirsty coming and giving me a hard time too. That's part of the fun.
Hey, nothing. Hey, listen, again, it's all love here, man. We're all Dolphin fans, and minus Bills Mafia, but we appreciate you for tuning in. We hope you subscribe because we don't just have Dolphins content. We got a lot of great content today, but or always. But I just want to say, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and debating. This is nobody. I don't want anybody feel knocked down or anything based off their opinions. Everybody has a right to an opinion. You're a Dolphins fan. If you don't want to trade for Jonathan Taylor, hey, that's on you. That's good for you. I want to trade for Jonathan Taylor, or I'm okay with giving up a high pick. You're not. That's okay. We're all Dolphin fans. No one's wrong. No one's calling names. We're all having a blast. And that's what this channel and this show is all about. Fish
Yeah,
tank and
well, I'm going to call Rob a name right now, Thirsty.
Rob is
Which
thirsty
one would
for
call
your
him
anger.
a name?
But hey, look, that's what I'm saying. It's, I don't like when fans go on fans or, on Twitter, you see Dolphin fans say, oh, you're not a real fan. No, bull crap. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're a Dolphins fan, no matter what your opinion is. Wilkins
No
and
matter
JT
how wrong it is, it doesn't matter.
Yes, you might be wrong, but I still love you. It's all good.
Yeah.
You're a Dolphins fan.
Hey,
We're good.
I get it wrong all the time. Bobby never lets me forget that.
I was going to say, trust me, I know he's right. I let him know it more than once, trust me. But it's all love, man. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Chris, Daniel, Aladino, Scotty, Rob, Concrete,
Chris,
Vogel, Chris, Cap,
Thirsty,
Harrison in the house. My mother's there. I see her.
Michael, Harrison, even though he's a Jets fan.
He's not really a Jets fan. He's just being a pain. Evan, Back It Up Binge podcast. I just want to make sure I get Eric, G, Ralph, Mafia, everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you guys. Do me a favor. If you're new to the show, new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like, and most importantly, as always, you fins up. Thank you all. Good day. And hey, let's get ready for some Dolphins football, baby.